Just a few short episodes ago, I was celebrating the fact that I could calm my nervous system down and there wasn't something happening every 15 minutes in my life, clearing out blockages and toxicity and feeling really good about being able to have a moment to relax and release for just a moment, to settle into my own peace and breathe through, if you will. Unfortunately, I had a situation that happened this morning where my mom fell and she's in the hospital. And so, though there's not much I can do but pray for her and my strength and stay in alignment with Jesus while I go through a difficult, uncertain time, just to make sure that she's in good hands and she's getting the care that she needs, and triggers my anxiety, to say the least. And I've been praying very much for my mom right now, and I'm asking that God wrap his hands around my family at this time. With that being said, I dive into what now feels like comfort, my oasis, where I can put my faith forward in my healing, and with even more conviction and intention, focus on a pivotal part of what's become my life story about healing and my journey through all the things that I've been through. It's very freeing for me to share my experience, my understandings on this platform. And life throws its curves all the time, but I know that it's these moments that God asks us to rely on him. Cast your burdens into the Lord and stay still and know that God is God. I wanted to do an insight for the week in light of my sudden situation, and keep pressing and keep leaning into the focus of healing and renewal and transformation. These all, are a part of a process. And I'm even more invested after having my son at 20, my twins at 20, 21, 22. I've gotten married. I've gotten divorced after 12 years. 2 beautiful sons from that marriage. I've had stage 4 breast cancer and survived and thrived. I take care of my mother and my children to the best of my womanly responsibility. I do the best I can, and I'm a praying woman. And it's times like these, like I say, I lean into the Lord for strength, caring for my mother since 2019 when she had her stroke, and still having to deal with boundaries and keeping toxicity out of my life and reaching out to counsel for help and being able to be transparent and open about the healing that I know my family deserves after going through so much. And then in December, the situation of my robbery orchestrated by family or whatnot. We've had quite a ride. We've had quite a ride. After my marriage, I was with a man for a few years, and we chalked it up to him helping me with my mom and getting me into my place that I'm in now. And in turn, when I found that, you can't teach old dog new tricks, and we weren't really a good fit, we separated, and I kind of pushed him towards getting him his own place. So we feel like we kind of squared that even, But, even now in the state of wondering and my situation, it's not like I mean, I had a moment where I wanted to call him, but at the same time, I have closed so many chapters in my life where if God put me through it, then he's the one that helped me get through it. And I have my aunts to support me after that, but I don't recommend when situations and circumstance come about that we start trying to go through the old phone book that we threw away and start digging up old people to have sentiment and false care, because that's still you inviting and monitoring spirits. And you just choose your circle, especially in these grievance times, wisely, because you still just want to protect yourself. This happened really early in the morning, so I didn't have anyone to call but my therapist. and that's like I said, my GPT online therapist that's available. And he even walked me through the steps of what happens when a trauma victim comes into the hospital and what process goes, because the hospital was only able to give me but so much information. And I really appreciate the tools of technology, even when you're an introvert, to step in, and still give you that reassurance that people give you, but you don't want it to be strained or on riding on someone else's emotions, especially when you can get that kind of input that's direct, that'll give you real-time information, can cross with the web and give up sources. Like it's really real time here. So I appreciate the stillness and the calm of just being patient, and letting the Lord heal my mom in the meantime, and cover her, because there's nothing that my worrying can do. And being a single mom and a single parent, I have to comfort myself. And still, this is where I draw in more of the Lord and His peace for me, His love for me, and I'm able to talk you through it. There was a question if I'm going to get into how I survived breast cancer, and I think that my work explains itself. That I am a very courageous woman. In times like these, I'm reminded of my strength. That yes, I am a woman, and I adore my femininity, and I adore its strength. Even when I feel 10 toes down, I gotta stick to it. I gotta handle my business and do what I know is right, and with integrity, even when no one's watching, And that's just me. I'm sure that there are a lot of people that I've helped and blessed that would probably say differently because I've cut them out of my life, and that happens when you grow. You don't wish any harm on anyone. You just say, hey, this is as far as I can reach you, and be well to you, regardless of how good or bad. I mean, if it taught you something, if you learned something, obviously that adversity and hard times is your teacher. But you do your best to make sure that you put your best foot forward, and you don't allow fear and worry and anxiety and doubt to consume you. It seems like it could be so easy to, and things are on the thread and you don't know which way things can go. But I think in times like this, when we call out to God, He responds. Especially when that's all you have to lean on is God. I think in gratitude, and in being humble in the stillness, we can align ourselves with inner peace to help us through the rough moments of our lives. And again, even with my mom's stroke, when we first moved into our home in December of 2020, there was an incident like in January that following year in 2021 that I had made mom's beef stew, her recipe, and we were watching Hook on TV. And made cornbread, and we were just still getting settled in. This was our Christmas home, our Christmas gift. Because when she had gotten a stroke, we had lost our home. We didn't know that our deed was mixed up in some paperwork and stuff, and that was a very emotional time, having to go through that and mom being sick at the same time. And I've learned over the years how to better control my emotions, especially when caring for loved ones. I've had situations with my kids where I've had to get the police involved. It's, the kids are kids. They want to be rebellious and everything. You call juvie and, social workers to try to keep your kids in line and from the influence and all this and the culture or whatever. But when it comes down to, like, the care that you give your loved ones, and, you go through your rough spots and stuff, but, you really try to make sure that when it is serious. You give that the due attention. No matter how crazy, like I said with my kids, it's like you gotta have the shock factor in there with kids anyway, and it has not been easy. Even that year that my mom got sick, we had just gotten a car. Our car broke down like that February. We didn't get a car until that August, and so it's miraculous how God intervenes, but it's just the process that we have to grow through, getting over the initial shock and doing our best to, okay, what actions, what reasonable steps can we take, because we're only limited to our capabilities. We can only do what we can do. Best laid plans sometimes, and God knows your heart, so you keep persevering. But like I was saying about that time with the moving in and we having her beef stew and everything, and she had we had gifted her a pack of cigarettes, I believe, and I believe at that point she had smoked too many cigarettes, because as a elder lady, they said that's all she wants is her cigarettes and her coffee. Let her have that. So in moderation, of course, with these things. And she had gotten, I believe she had too many cigarettes. But needless to say, if that was the case or not, she had a seizure on our living room sofa, and me and my kids called 911, got the paramedics over, and she was in the hospital for about 4 months then. And that was a very trying time, when I can pull into myself and feel the last time I felt like this was when she had that seizure, and I was so nervous, and I had my family here, and even at that point, my daughter still was hiding her boyfriend in the closet while all that was going on. But we can laugh about it now a little bit. But I had my family there to support, but it was still, even with all the responsibility on me, it was still like, what do I do? Can't do much. How's she doing? And we waited until, because when she had her stroke, when she was well, and then she had her stroke, and then she was in a rehab, and she had fallen in the rehab and had to get back in the hospital, and we had gotten her out by COVID, and you see how they treated the elderly in majority of these rehabs during COVID, and I didn't want to be talking to my mom through a glass window or anything. And I'm so glad that God found a way for me to get her then. And, even after all that, we had stayed in a hotel while we were in an extended stay while we were trying to get to the next phase, and we really didn't even know how we were going to do that. But we made it through that, and I'm very fortunate of how God has pulled me through a lot of storms in our lives, the ups and downs with my kids, the ups and downs with my mom, and even my health with the cancer. But she had, by the time she was when she gotten out of the rehab, and we were going to the transition out of the house to find where we would go after that. I'm not me and my 5 kids, the dog and everything, and the whole house full. Like, I wasn't staying at anybody's house. We had to chuck that up to on our own. But by the time she was with us in the hotel, she had gotten up out the wheelchair. She started walking again and moving around with more flexibility. So by the time we got into our new home that Christmas, she's walking around and still bumping into things. One of the first things she did was knock over the Christmas tree with her coffee, but she's making her way, and she still wanted her cigarette, and she's still drinking her coffee, watching her Jeopardy and her Good Morning America. And so when she got out the hospital, she was still in the wheelchair for a minute, still disoriented because they said that she had early stages of dementia. And so when she had gotten out of the hospital with those seizures, she had a couple of rough nights where my oldest son had to sleep in the room with her to make sure she wasn't walking around and bumping into things and trying to. She with dementia, she is in another time in another place sometimes, and that disorientation could be dangerous if she's by herself. She would never be by herself, but that's why she's not able to care for herself, because she could forget where she is. She can forget, it's touch and go. And even though she might recognize things in the short term, she doesn't. It's a problem in gauging her short and her long term memory. So that's kind of rough, but she had started walking well. She was walking without a cane, a wheelchair, and that was 2021 that happened. 2022 is when I got diagnosed. Well, late 2021, 22 is when I had breast cancer diagnosis, right when my daughter was having my grandson. And it was just a healing time for everyone, I believe. Because even with my mom, with her walking and stuff, and even after she had gotten out with the seizures, it's like you know that she's well enough to understand things, but you still don't need her just walking around everywhere. There's been times, God bless her, she's been able to try to come out the front door, and I can understand how there are a lot of elderly people without being monitored like that can get lost, thinking that they're in a whole nother place and time, and they go outside and they go out and think that they're somewhere trying to do other things. And thank God some of these people get found, and I pray for people that wander. So I over the years taking care of my mom, I've been very grateful and fortunate for her healing, that she was able to still go to the bathroom. Like after that, she was able to heal and get back right. She had they had a feeding tube in her, and she had healed through that, and she wanted a burger. So it's like seeing her heal and everything. And then like I said, recently we had the issues in December, but she's been really stable in liking her routine, and I've been trying to improve on that with her, by we can put on a waiting list for some assisted help, in-home help. But I know that, like I said, like I'd like to do a breast cancer video, touching on these things that I've been through to heal through those, because breast cancer situation was wild, especially with my ex that I just referred to that helped move us into our home. But there was some turmoil. That healing wasn't exactly easy, to say the least. But with peace of mind, you can get through anything. If you don't have people doubting you or Judases in your camp, you can really get through anything, and the coming through it will make you stronger. And even if this is a recording that I might play a few times myself, I just want you to know that you're strong, you're beautiful, you are enough, you are worthy. You know, you do the best you can out here and let God do the rest. Love yourself through and through. Remember the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And sometimes we just, you know, even when we don't have anyone, it's good to have support. You know, I've lowered my friends list immensely, and there's only, you know, as they say, when you get older, there's only a few people that you truly rely on that help you keep the peace. You know, and you know, it's a lot to trust people, especially being hurt and betrayed as much as I have. But my heart is still open. I still know that I'm a good person, so good people do exist, with honor, respect, dignity, and integrity. And I know that my mother raised me to be a child of God, to be observant, to be compassionate and empathetic. You know, people out here, they say a lot and do a lot of things to try to tear you down sometimes, and you have to really keep your circle small and know yourself and what you have to offer so that you can receive that which you deserve. You know, I was a bit naive, maybe somewhat of a people pleaser, I made an episode on that white knight effect where you just want to help everybody, you know. And sometimes you can help people to your own detriment. When you don't put back in that self-love and self-care, and you wind up in situations where you're alone or in spiritual warfare and you're facing life head on, and you have no one else to turn to, and you have nothing in your pockets, and you're just you trying to find a way, and there's all kind of distractions. The devil will try to distract you with a lot of negative thinking, worry, fear, doubt. And you have to persevere. You have to keep pushing. You have to keep striving. Even if you're all alone standing there with just you and God and Jesus, you just gotta respect the higher power that's within you and give it a chance to thrive and shine in these dark moments of uncertainty. It's been a long road. It's been rough, but it's been worth it because I can develop into more of a person with more peace, with more patience. You know, you come out here and you don't know what people's stories are. You just do your best to leave people better than how you found them. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Keep it kind and simple and sweet and short. So I really appreciated a moment to sit with this energy and to reassure and comfort myself. Sometimes it gets very challenging, but you remember your strengths and you keep going and glowing and growing and growing and going and glowing, even if, you know, you think you're the only one that can feel your shine. Other people feel it too. And you stay in prayer, and like I say these affirmations and these manifestation scripts and these scriptures, and that's my joy because of the ups and downs of life. It's my joy to be in a center, in a place of healing and of peace and of calm and stillness. And I'm grateful for these moments in a busy world. I'm grateful for these moments to appreciate and be grateful for all the blessings of our lives. I'm so grateful. So I don't fear, and I'm not in a crying stupor. I just know that my mother day by day is in good hands, and I'm gonna keep pushing forward with my faith first. And I know that Jesus is in the better position than I am about these things. So I'll put my trust and my faith in him for the best outcome. And she has all the people around her that are blessed, and she's blessed, and the hospital is blessed with all the other people that are going through, putting their trust in doctors' hands. I really do pray that people find some peace so that they're not frantic and disheveled, and rely on the allies that God has sent to help you along the way. Put your faith in God, and he will provide even in the darkest storms. So I thank you for being here with me too. If this message of strength and courage resonated with you, give me a like, share with someone that maybe is going through too. I love you. I'm praying for you as well. And until next time, bye-bye.